Hey, I want to thank y'all for tapping into Live and Unscripted. I am the ambassador, and I got my brother, good friend, Coach Mac. Man, it's been a little minute since the last time we did this. And so I had to bring you back because it's a lot we got to catch up on. So, you know what I mean? Uh, where you want to start? Like, it's live and unscripted, you know what I mean? So, where do you want to start?
I mean, we could start from the beginning, where how it all started.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning on, you know, really not only say what got you in coaching because you have coached at the of course AAU. From AAU, you went to middle school and had success in the middle school, and you actually have had success at the high school level. But each and even AAU we was killing people. You know what I mean? But each level is different. So let's start on I guess how you got started and even the things that you learned along the way because like I said, each level is different.
So I got started, what, man, 16, 12, about 13, 12 years ago, just working with my kid. I have one daughter, and I used to hoop until injuries and whatnot, took me out the game. I have a whole nother story about that about as a player. But I mean, when my kids started playing, I was just in the gym at the basketball courts with her, and then actually got her into City League with Warren Avenue, and we they played at the second grade level, and then we played against some good players over there. Then Terrence, he was
Yeah.
Carmen's stepdad. He was active with trying to get something together, and then through you and him, you guys stepped out and reached out to the key players in the Pee Wee League. So my kid was one. We had Jazz, Carmen, T, Mac, and so we threw them together. But at that time, it wasn't really AAU things on our side of the bridge for their grade level. So it was like, who did we play? So we played a couple of teams that were grades above us in Kitsap and, start surprising people about how good they were because they were killing kids that were older than them. And
Yeah.
so then we was like, okay, I mean, let's take it to across the bridge, give them a challenge. And little do you know, we went to Tacoma and was killing them. And it wasn't until we got to the Seattle area where we kind of got woke up a little bit. But, it was a learning experience. You know, Looking back, if I could do things differently with them, it would have been a lot more teaching of the game,
Okay.
fundamentals. I loved that team. Like that was my first team coaching. Well, yeah, that was my first team coaching. I was helping out with Pee Wees with Naya and Coach Walt. I was the dad that's on the sidelines coaching their kids. The kids looking at Naya, looking at me, and I'm telling her to do this and do that. And now, as a coach, I was out of pocket for doing that, but thankfully, Walt let me be a parent coach and come on that. But then going back to the AAU thing, you know, I wish I would have focused more on skill development and teaching the aspects of the game. And as many memories as we have, I wouldn't have kept those girls together. You know what I mean? Because it was a gap between the older girls and the younger girls, and they didn't get the in-game reps that they should have got. I don't want to say that it hurt their game, but it didn't help their game as much as it could have. You know what I mean? We had more team success versus player development. But
Great.
then I came on and started. Walt wanted me to be the head coach of the Pee Wees, and I was just doing it for the love of the game, the love of the girls, and I was advocating for all girl things, all girl sports, just because I don't feel like they get the attention that they deserve. Now people are starting to wake up, which is lovely. But then let's see, middle school, something happened at the middle school, and they needed a coach like ASAP, and I had some people reaching out to me, throwing my name out there. And so I just stepped in the role, but I was only on the boys' side. So I came in as the boys' JV coach. Um, did that for a year, 2 years, I think. Then I moved into the role of the head coach for the boys, and then the girls. So in middle school, they split. So like the first half of the season for high school is the boy season, and then the second half of the season of high school is the girl season when it comes to middle school. So I was able to coach both sides because of the way they split it up. But jumped in on the girl side as an assistant and was head coach of the boys, assistant for the girls, and then the head coach position opened up for the girls. I didn't get it actually. I applied. I was actually asked to apply, and I applied and didn't get it. And so I stuck it out, stayed with the assistant coach role, and then about a year later, I ended up getting the head coach position, which is crazy because when we was doing our AAU thing, when you brought me in and gave me my first coaching position, with the AAU girls, that was like my vision. I was like, oh, if I can keep these girls together, and then I can be coaching once I get to the middle school level and have them try and get them ready for when they go to high school. And my God, if we could have kept that team together, bro, like I don't know who's on and who's watching. And I'm not saying that we would have been what my coach Maya Davis did with them boys, because that group is special, but we had a special group of girls, man. Like for real.
I,
Anybody
I, I
that's
I
seen
have
them
to
play,
agree with you on this, Matt. Um, hopefully you end up. There you go. I have to agree because we had a plan, just like Coach Maya in 360. That was our plan because I was the head coach at the time
mm-hmm,
at Bremerton,
yeah,
and so yeah, so that was our thing. Was like if we can keep them together, and so it was like I think the beauty of it. One thing that you pointed out that I want to go back to. You said this is it's all about learning curves, and one thing you said is the developmental piece. You know
yeah,
what I mean? That you wish you would have focused on, or really dialed in a little bit more. And that's one of the things now where we are at the high school level, and just both of us are former players, play with each other. So it's a different type of thing as a player and as a coach. But that's one of the things that we really harp on now is development,
mm-hmm,
right? Even at the high school level, because we see the lack of development when they come to us at the high school level, and they're wanting to go on. And so, like I said, if they would have been AAU, any kind of program back then, just AAU, period. I think that's one of the focus, like for us now, is like development, right? Because of the fact that you can win all these games, but what you said, we was winning, we was killing kids. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, it was blowouts, and that's where it got away from the development because
yeah,
it was just so superior on defense that it was
yeah,
just fast break, fast break, fast break. You know what I mean? And then it's like, now parents are starting to buy in that area. But when we were trying to do that and with the vision that we had, I mean, let's keep it 100. How many summers did I dedicate
yeah.
to being in the gym? Like my daughter didn't have no summer vacation for 3 summers straight. Like we was in the gym, and it's me, Naya, and 2 other people. Like we the whole summer, every day practice coming in, guessing how many people are going to be there.
That's true.
And you know, I understand life and all that. It's just I wish the vision would have worked out, and I wish the dedication would have been there because like we was really dedicated to them girls, and I mean I'm still dedicated. We're still
Yeah,
dedicated to them. Like there's still absolutely nothing that I won't do for them kids. Like absolutely nothing. I mean, and that goes for every single player. Once you play for me, like
yeah,
we're joined at the hip. No matter if we talk every day, every other day, once a year. Like that's just the way. That's how I am as a human being. You know what I mean? But those girls could have been something that we could have kept them together for real. Like we
no,
we had we had a vision. I got to the middle school level. I think I got there right as you decided to leave, Brim, right? Or were
yeah.
you? Or yeah,
I
you
think
you
yeah,
left as I was coming in. You were
yep.
going.
I was leaving, yes, and I went to Ridgetop, and you had a lot of success with those girls, and it goes back to and we go back and say 360, and we use them because hey, they want a state title. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's the same model of saying, okay, you start young, you start developing, you keep them together, and you take them up through the ranks. And by the time they get to high school, they're clicking on all cylinders. And so that is what we were doing, and that's why I'm so thankful for 360 and Bremerton and their success, because it's something that you and I were looking to do. We were building on the girl side, and things end up going the way that it went. But those girls have had success in other ways, although wasn't together. And even you and I end up going over to CK
Mm-hmm.
and picking up that vision.
Yeah,
So
and that's I mean, it's crazy how things work out, because like you left Brim as I was coming into the Bremerton system, and then those girls just, it was no like they were just killing teams. Like
yeah,
in middle school, it was no contest, and it was testament to the work that they were putting in when they were working. Summertime is one thing, but then once they were in, like them girls, they can go.
it worked. Yeah.
But and then let's fast forward, like you were just talking about the whole CK thing. When I was at, so I was, it was Naya's 8th grade year at Mountain View, and she's a sophomore now, and a position opened up at CK. I've always wanted to be a high school coach, high school girls coach at that. And, Olympic opened up too. And I ended up applying to both of them over that summer. Never heard anything back. For whatever reason, I still don't understand how it happened, but I took my app out of Olympic for some reason. And I left it at CK, which is ironic, because, and I can say this because I coached there, I hated CK. Like I hated them so much, because when I was in the 7th grade, I tried out for CK junior high, and I got cut. And I
Oh
was,
wow.
yeah, because it was the year that the levy didn't pass, so they only had a varsity team. So they,
Okay.
all the 8th graders, they got put on or whatever. And then, like, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I used to be really short. Like I used to be hella short. Yeah, I was shorter than Maya.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was shorter than Maya. I didn't catch a growth spurt until the summer of my 10th grade year, and then I grew like 6 inches. But I used to be real short. But yeah, I did not like CK at all. And when I got to high school, I went to Olympic. I just gotta throw this in there. I hit him up for 32. Uh, but yeah, so I kept the whole thing in for CK. I kept my app in for CK or whatever, and then time went on, and then the school year started, and I still never heard nothing from him. So I'm just like, okay, you know what? I don't care. I still have my position as the boys and girls head coach at Mountain View. So boys season passes over, um, and then the girls season is coming up, and I get the call for an interview, and I'm just like, damn, should I take it? I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting an interview. Like, it's not a good look. I don't want to make myself look bad. I'm just going to go to the interview. I ain't going to get it anyways. And so I go take the interview, and then I get called back, and they're like, okay, we want to schedule you for a second interview. We want you to come in and run a practice. And I'm just like, I never even heard of that before. Now I'm just like, okay. So I'm just like, I got to show up. Like, I got to show up. So I show up and do the practice or whatever. And then I'm at work. I was working at Mountain View at the time in the daytime as well as coaching. And so I'm at work, and I get the call from the AD, and he's like, we want to offer you the position. Will you accept? And I wish I could have seen his face, because his response is, I don't even know what happened. I just froze up, and I was like, let me get back to you. And I don't know what I was thinking or who I thought I was, because it's like, you gonna really tell somebody, let me get back to you, like they're sorting you out to be the, you know what I mean? And so like I thought on it, and I'm just like, I got, I had that team that you and I had through
Yeah.
the AU. That was their eighth grade year. Well, no, Nia's 7th grade year, and then Carmen and Mac and T's 8th grade year. But that group that we brought along, it was their final year before they go off to high school. And so I'm just like, I can't leave my girls, but this is an opportunity. You know what I mean? I don't know which route I want to go. And so like I just went back and forth on it. I'm just like, CK, I'm a Bremerton alum, but I never got a call back for an interview when I applied for there. So I'm just like, okay, CK wants me. I got to kind of throw this out the window. And then I had to sit down and talk with my kid, and I was just like, Naya, like, what do you think? Like, we have this journey, and I don't want to leave when we're about to cross the finish line, because I never expected to get, after all the times I applied at Bremerton and never got a call back, I never expected to coach high school. I thought I was just going to remain a middle school coach and then just support my kid with everything that she's doing. And I love that kid, man. She's so mature. Like, she was just like, Daddy, you've always said, she didn't say Daddy because she don't call me that. She said, Baldy, you've always, you know how Naya be.
Yeah.
She's like, Baldy, you know that you've always meant to be a coach for high school. And I was like, so you think I should go for it? And she said, yeah. And I'll never forget it. When I told her I was gonna take it, my own kid told me she was proud of me, which kind of got me. You know what I mean? And I was just like, okay, so I made the right decision. And then coming over to CK, like, it was just so welcoming. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just welcoming. Like, the kids, the staff, like Coach Lindsay, Coach Carey, like those two, like, when I first met with them, they were like, all right, are you ready for this? Because it's a lot.
Right.
And I coach middle school. I go to practice at 3. We leave at 5. And I don't do basketball again until the next day.
Right.
We practice Monday through Friday.
That's it.
We have 2 games a week.
Yeah.
We're done.
High school.
And so, like, I'm looking at them like, it's like, of course I'm ready. Like, let's go.
Right.
Bro, it's so much stuff. Like,
yes.
Forget the on the court stuff. Like, people, if you don't coach or know coaches, it's so much work off the court. Like,
yep.
It's so much work off the court that is draining. I love basketball, but it was like, I'm driving to work. I'm a commuter. I commute to work. I'm working. Let me backtrack because I skipped forward. I decided to continue coaching Mountain View and stick it out with those girls. And I took the CK job.
Yep.
So I'm a head coach of Mountain View Middle School and Central Kitsap. So I'm going to work from the 7:30 to 3, and then we're practicing at Mountain View from 3 to 5, and then I'm shooting over to CK for 5:30 to 7:30 practice.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot, but like, I was definitely dedicated to my AAU girls, and then I found a new love and dedication for Central Kitsap. You know what I mean? That developed over that year. But when they told me it's gonna be a lot, I was like, man, she tripping, and I've been doing this. You know what I mean? And it was a shock, bro. It was like, I don't care what your record is. This goes to every high school coach out there. I don't care what your record is. If you've never won a game, the energy and time that you have to put into being a high school coach, nobody will understand unless they're a coach and or they know one. Like, I commend them so much, because you're spending and investing so much time and energy into other people's kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't feel the appreciation.
Yeah.
Like, when things are good, you're the greatest coach ever. When something doesn't happen, it's just like, oh, I can take it's the coach's fault, but it's like, don't ever question if I care about your kid. Like, we put in hours, with, booking games, ordering things, weight room, conditioning, film study, scout. Like, there's so much stuff that coaches, and I'm not saying head coaches. That's the reason why there's an assistant. That's the reason why there's a JV. Like, it's a whole team. It's a whole team. And I've always spoke that, like, even if I have the head coach's title, whoever I'm coaching, like, my coaches are equivalent to me. Like, it's not, no, I'm above you and none of that. Like, no, like, we're together. We're a family. We're going to make this work, and we got to have loyalty and understand that we may not agree all the time, but there's a way to respectfully disagree and have different sets of opinions and work as a team. Because, I mean, if you want your team to work together, especially through adversity, like, you have to model that same stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But CK, man, I first year, like, was just unexpected. You know what I mean? Like, I came over and I was super overwhelmed and was just like, man, I don't know if I'm cut for this. And I'm still trying to coach at Mountain View. And it's like I'm trying to juggle too much, and I got too many eggs in the basket. And I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying to do that, and I'm just like I'm about to lose this hair, not this hair. I'm I'm like, but luckily I had a good support system. Like Lindsay and Carrie really stuck with me and helped me
Yeah.
adjust to the high school level. And then it just went back to, okay, you know what? I need I need an assistant because Lindsay and Carrie still have their two teams, so they can't hold my hand through this journey in my first year. And then it just circled back around. I'm just like, you know what? How do I even get into coaching? It started with Ash. So I hit you up and I'm just like, hey, I need an assistant, man. I know you're coaching the boys, but what you think about coming over here and trying to work something out with me? I'll work with your schedule until the boys season is over, and then we can just try to make this run. And thankfully, I appreciate you for saying yes and doing basically the same thing I was doing with the middle school. Trying to move back and forth with the middle school girls because we ran ourselves rugged that year trying to coach two teams.
No, it was, I mean, it was a no-brainer. I mean, it was definitely an honor to be asked because, like you said, we started this journey a decade or so ago. You know what I mean? Where we was like, hey, not only just say for that group of girls, but for young ladies, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a thing that for me as well, I was like, there's so many resources for us, for guys,
Yeah,
but for women or young ladies, there's not that many resources. And then you, you add in the fact that we live in Bremerton. You say where we're from, folks is like, where is that, right? It's not Seattle, it's not Tacoma, where you got a lot of resources. We're in a small town or a
yeah,
small city. And so it's a military town as well. So it's those things where it said, okay, well, we don't know who's coming or who's coming out, but the ones who live here, let's begin to give them resources and opportunities that we was blessed, to have, you know, our gift made room and we was able to do things at different levels and get seen by people. So we're saying, hey, okay, let's bring this platform to our young ladies. And so to get to CK, once you said you was there, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Cause I remember my run at Bremerton. That's where I first started. For those who don't know, yes, I started with the men's team with the Kitsap Admirals, I guess you say my own brand or minor league. But from the high school, Bremerton gave me my first opportunity, and it was the girl side. You know what I mean? Which I loved. And so when you said, let's go, I'm like, man, let's do it. Right. And so once, with Jeff and the whole staff, I love the whole coaching staff that we had. And it didn't take us long. The kids bought in, and all of a sudden, we started to see like,
it was
whoa,
it was just the way that we all complemented each other with different pieces. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I'm a I'm a I'm a finally listen to your words and pat myself on the back because
yes,
because you know I was one smart enough, man enough, and I didn't have no kind of coaching ego to bring in help and have people around me that had the 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 talents that I didn't have. Me bringing you in, me bringing Jeff in, and him, and him volunteering for free. Him
yes,
just giving his time and his wisdom. When I had Lindsay, when Lindsay's in the gym and Lindsay had worked with these girls, she has relations with the girls. Carrie has relations. Like
yeah,
all of us gave something to the players and to the program, and then the girls started to buy in, and then we just like we started off slow, and then we just got better every single.
oh,
I remember when we did goals, like the team goal was to make it to the playoffs,
okay,
and then that happened. And I don't care what nobody say. None of us ever thought we was gonna make it to state. Like
no,
it wasn't in our thought process. But for everybody to buy in and just give their all, like that's gonna be a definite unforgettable season for me. Like I will forever. I love all my teams. Don't get me wrong, but like that was just a really incredible year that gave me some long time memories.
No, I agree, and I have to say, I know success. I mean, and when I say success, I guess success according to win and loss records, that's what people call it, right? For us, it's more than just the wins and losses, it's the impact that we actually had on their lives.
And
Um,
man, facts. And that's the reason why I coach. Like
yeah,
the reason why I coach, because if you're a high school coach, if you compare the time to the amount of money you make, like you're working for nothing.
yeah,
It's not a high paying gig, and it's the payment is in the memories, the life lessons that you teach through the game.
yeah,
We talk to the girls about overcoming adversity. Our second year in the wins loss column, it wasn't the same as year one.
right.
We had some struggles, but I really feel like in the long run, the next time these girls go through some adversity, they're going to be able to bounce back so much quicker just because they know what it's like to fight, 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 and continue to fight when things are down. Like that's the beauty of coaching, is building those relationships, building those bonds, and just having memories together with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that is so true. I mean, and that's why I say I go back to Bremerton, my young ladies to this day. So much love to family, like I said, that was a program that God gave me the grace to be able to turn around, and we had success and make the playoffs. And memories, we still have memories to this day, and so to come over with you and then repeat that and go even further, because we went to the playoffs at Bremerton, but we went to state, at CK, and finished 19th in the state. And so that was something that I will never forget. And I'm so thankful to, you, the coaching staff, the CK, those girls, because it's something I've been fortunate enough to coach and travel the world, coaching and win all kind of awards. But that's something that is something that forever I would forever cherish and remember, right? And so, and then to go into, like you said, the following year, um, and adversity. That
Man,
was a thing too. Like I think
so
for
much.
my, go ahead. Just said,
There was so much adversity, man. Like it was a really tough year on everybody. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like, and I really wish, like, taking a year of absence this year was a really hard thing for me to do. Like, it was really hard. Like, I didn't know that was even an option. Like, when I reflected on my life in the last couple of years, I was like, I have to take care of me. I'm just gonna step away. Like, and that's where I went into it, and I thank God was given the option by the AD, was like, take a leave of absence, because my doctor was saying I I was smart enough to finally go and see a doctor, listen to my body, and go see a doctor, and they told me, you are putting too much stress on your body. Your anxiety, you're suffering from anxiety and depression. You can't work more than this amount of time a day. So, when I told them that, I'm just like, I don't know what I can do. Like, I'm not allowed to work more than 8 hours a day. And they're just like, oh, well, take a leave of absence, see when the doctor's going to let you come back. And, it was like going into last year's season, after we went to state, you know, there was a lot of pressure on me from the community. And, I read, social media and whatnot, and there was a lot of pressure. And then going into the season, my dad's sick. My dad's sick. And so I'm like, you know what, man, something just told me, like, you need to go and see your dad. So, I got the season coming up, basketball season's coming up. It may have even been, like, I think we might have even been in preseason, or I know we had a team formed at this point. Um, and so, you picked up some slack for me and the help coach. Jeff was coming and stuff like that. And then, so me and Naya fly out to go see my dad. And we landed, let's say, 2 o'clock or whatnot, and he's in the room sleeping. and I'm thinking it's just the meds because he's fighting a battle with cancer and stuff like that, and I could hear my big guy snoring and whatever, so I'm just like, oh yeah, he's out cold. And so I go visit with the rest of the family because I hadn't been out there in 15 years, and Naya had never been out there to see that family. So we're all spending time with the family, and the room that I'm staying in is adjacent to his room. You gotta work with me if I start getting choked up, but um, I go in the back to go get something, and I call him the bear because he a big dude just like me. So I'm going to the back room, and I'm like, I don't hear the bear snoring. I was telling him he'd be hibernating, he'd be snoring so loud. So like I go in there and I don't hear no snoring, and I'm just like touch him, and then I like put my head down. I don't feel him breathing. And just like that, like he passed hours after we got out there.
Oh,
And so I had to fly Naya back because she didn't want to do the funeral or whatever. I fly Naya back, and then I go back again. So now I'm missing more time with the program. But it's my dad, and I gotta make the funeral, man.
yeah.
So I had that time away, and then I got sick. Like, you know, I say that to say this, like, I wish I would have done that second year what I did this year because I tried to occupy myself with other things, basketball, games, work, and stuff like that. But I never really took time to grieve because I didn't want to. Like I didn't want to face that. But reflecting back like that, my second year at CK, like I wasn't me. Like I
Yeah.
was not I wasn't myself. And then the struggles that we had just it impacted that on top of things because of course when you're not winning games, things that wouldn't necessarily be magnified by players, parents, or coaches. Now it's a lot bigger. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of people, unless they're really close to me, don't know. Like within the last 4 5 years, like I've lost a lot more family than I would ever think. There's been so many deaths these last couple of years. Like I've lost my sister, I lost my cousin, I lost my nana, which is my grandmother. I lost my dad. I just lost my stepmom. Lost a few cousins. Like it's just been so much going on. It got to the point like where I just put my phone on do not disturb and I set it down because it just seemed like every time it would ring, it was some bad news. And so like I got like really like in a depressed state like after our first year going to state, and then we went and we had that season, our second season, going into our second season. I mean, that summer after we went state,
Yeah.
like I didn't like leave the house this past summer. I mean, sorry about that. I'm confusing myself. This past summer. So after my second season at
Okay.
CK, this past summer that just passed, like I probably left the house like maybe like 10 times, maybe, besides doing the June summer league. Once the summer league cut off, like I was to myself. Like period. I didn't want to talk on the phone. I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to do nothing. And when you stop trying to face things and you try to numb it however you choose to do that, it's not healthy. And I'm glad we're doing this show, and I hope that there's people watching because like I love telling my stories no matter what it is in hopes that it can help at least one person. Like I went through like the darkest time of my life, like not leaving the house, not wanting to do anything, just getting up and then laying around watching TV or, not spending time with my loved ones, not talking on the phone, not wanting to do anything. And my body started to react to it. Like there was days when I would wake up and before my foot even hit the floor, like I'm crying and I'm just like what the hell is going on? Like I'm not mad, I'm not sad. Like I can't control my body right now. I can't control my emotions. And I'm man enough to not feel like a punk for saying that. Like I would literally wake up and just start crying for no reason, and then I get angry because I don't understand what's wrong with me and why can't I control my body. and then I would start getting like these sharp, sharp pains in my chest, and then my chest would get real tight where it feels like I can't breathe, and then like things would get like dizzy. My hands would start getting sweaty and shaky, like all these like serious crazy symptoms, and I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with me? Like I have no clue what's wrong with me, but I'm the type of person like I'm not going to the doctor. Like I'll tell myself if it don't get better in a week, then maybe I'll go. Like I hate going to the hospital, and my body just really started telling me like you better start listening. You know what I mean? And I finally got up the courage to go to a doctor and get checked out. And when they told me I had anxiety and depression, because I thought I was having a heart attack one day. That's how I finally found
Wow.
out. My chest was so tight I couldn't breathe, and I was just tripping out. So I finally went because I can't, I'm not trying to go, And so they
Right.
tests on me, and they finally told me, and so like they prescribed me the medicine and stuff like that, and I've been talking to people. I have some really good people that have been helping me through the situation, and I feel so much better. But like I took this past season off because I had to focus on my mental health. Like I didn't have a choice, and like growing up, especially as Black men, like we're taught you need to be tough. You know what I mean? Like stop being soft. Get over like we're supposed to always be tough, and trying to be tough all the time is what got me where I was at with my body and my mental health. And so for people that don't know, like that's the reason why I stepped away. Um, my mental health needed to come first for myself, for my family, even for the program. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have been able to give what I would want and need to give to the program or anybody else if I didn't take care of myself and realize like it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to let people know that you're not okay, and it's okay to go and get help. Like there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. Like it doesn't mean that you're crazy or you know uh, we don't go to therapists. Like no man, like
Right.
we need to, like, you know what I mean? Like when we have our friends and stuff like that, but everybody's not trained to help you get out or even
Yeah.
uncover what's wrong with you, because like I still don't know everything that's wrong with me. Like I know what I've been through. I know that the deaths of my immediate family have have given a major impact on me. I know that finding my father passed away was some serious trauma that I'm still not over, but like I'm mentally in a much better space now, a much better space, and I have the tools to, when I do feel a panic attack coming on, I have the tools now to catch it and bring it down before it goes further. I'm staying consistent on my medication, which has me in a lot better moods, and I haven't had a panic attack, and I don't know why. I mean, and I don't know how long, and I'm gonna continue to keep taking my meds, continue to keep talking to people, continue to keep telling my story, and also try to be there for others. You know what I mean? Like pay it back. Like the people that's been there for me, but like I appreciate you. Like my whole time being away from the game, like you've checked on me. A lot of you when you go through things, and I don't think people do it intentionally, but you kind of stop hearing from people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like me going through what I'm going through. Sometimes, yeah, I wouldn't catch my phone. Yeah, I wouldn't. I would reschedule things with people. I would not want to go and do this, and you still continue to reach out, even if I don't hit you back for a week, 2 weeks. It's like when I hit you back, it's just like, oh man, you good? Like I know what's up, you good? And I just want to tell you, like I appreciate that, because it means so much to me when I finally do break out of a shell or break out of a funk and I reach out. I'm greeted with love instead of like, well, what took you so long, or like that, like negative energy, because it's like that's not what I need right now. I need you to kind of be understanding that I am and recognize that I'm going through something right now.
Man, bro, I'm so thankful for you sharing your story and to hear it, because what folks don't understand is, like you said, you fought so much through and sort of kept it to yourself during that season. We talked every day, two, three times a day. People don't understand that. Like you said, coaching and how much you care. We was constantly on the phone, but you never told me, you know what I mean, what was really like going on, right? Until later. And then that's where I was like, bro, yeah, 100% behind you no matter what's going on. And so that was the thing too, where, I think like for myself, it helps me, I guess, as sort of like a mentor, a big brother, especially when you start talking about coaching, uh, where it started. Because I would share things. I was like, "Hey, like, what am I saying?" We laugh about it. I seen this before, you know what I mean? And that's an inside joke between me and my man's. But it's one of those things where when you've been in I would say the game long enough, and as a coach, you recognize certain things, and so you begin to share that, and that was a thing that we shared, and I began to help you and tell you certain things, but on the back end, because you was going through, like I said, the anxiety and the depression, and that's the other part. You pointed out something else. Folks don't understand. You have a successful season that all eyes, you're the hero, everybody is loving you, and the pressure is real on us. You know what I mean? Because we're like, okay, we got to keep this up, we got to repeat. And when they don't go that way, and then it's like they turn on you. You know what I mean? And now you're like, whoa, wait a minute. You know what I mean? We're human just like anybody else. And so folks don't understand that part as a coach. You know what I mean? As a coach, like I said, I've been blessed to coach at every level, and I've had success, and I've had my downtime. And so when you have those, we say rebuilding downtime, especially we say rebuilding in programs, and say like high school, because people graduate and they move on. And then there's new classes come up, and you got to have the right system in place so it can continue. If the system is not in place, then it's still hard, even still, because like I say, you're rebuilding. But the pressure that we go through as coaches, mind you, your father, you got your own personal relationship, you know what I mean? You have, all these other hats, your family, your own, you as a man. There's a lot of things that we have that we got to go through. And on top of being pouring into other people, kids, loving them like our own. That's what real coaches do. And so you take on all of that, and you feel like you got to, be that big person, and fight through it, and that's what it happens. We all break down because myself, the same thing, you know what I mean, where your body and all of that begins to talk. Go ahead.
That's it. That's exactly what happened because you know what I'm saying. Like you just pointed out something that I didn't even realize. Like thinking back, reflecting. Like I did talk to you 3 or 4 times a day. Like after every game, I would talk to you my whole entire way home.
Yeah.
I've known you before coaching. We played
Yeah.
together. I've known you for I don't even 20 something years. I ain't trying to
Easy.
age you
Yep.
on. I've known you for a minute, and I consider you family.
Yeah.
And all the hours that we spent on the phone, like I never told you the things that was, that I was fighting. Like I never
Yeah.
told nobody. Like, I tried my best not for people to see that I wasn't okay. You know what I mean? I tried to convince myself that I was okay. You know what I mean? And that's why I said earlier, like it's okay not to be okay, and I understand that
Yes.
now. But at the time, I'm just like, no, I got man toughen up. Like you know what I'm saying? People, everybody going through something. You know what I'm saying? Like don't.
Yes.
And yeah, everybody is going through something, but at the same time, you're allowed to go through that something and feel something. And when I would be around any of y'all, workplace, basketball court, anything like that, I tried to continue to be the person that everybody knows. The
You
person
did.
that wants to be there for you, wants to do things for you, and it's just like it was tough. And then it's like when things aren't going the way that I would like it to, it just made it that much tougher. So it's like you got life problems that you're trying to deal with. You're not trying to grieve when you should grieve, and then you're having struggles in this area, and so it was just all that compounded, and just I just knew it was the right decision for me. And like I said, my stepmom just passed away, in like right when the season started, and I
Oh wow.
remember hitting up Lindsay, who stepped in and was the interim head coach for me, and I appreciate that so much because she kept things rolling, and she did such a good job. And I remember hitting her and Ariana and Frank up with a text and just was like, as hard as it was to tell the girls, oh my God, and when I had to tell the girls that I
Uh,
wasn't coming back, like that broke me down. So I was like, as hard as it was, because trust me, it was so hard to step away from the game. It was so hard, but I texted them and I'm just like, I made the right decision. And then, I let them know why I said that. And, I just hope that nobody in the program feels that, I neglected them or I walked away from them. Like, I hope that they can understand and respect the reasons why I did what I did. And, you know,
I believe hearing this, it shines a lot of light on things, right? Because what happens is if people we tend to assume, right? Oh, we assume it's because he didn't win and this and that and all of those things, but it's like no, these things happen in your personal life, and I'm gonna go back to this is back in when our hooping days, when I was at OC right after you, hooping, and at that time, this is one of my stories. I had a daughter that passed away, and so that's why if you see me, Billy, Landrum, and Paul Felker, those are my coaches at the time. And that team, we have a different kind of bond because they was there when I had to lay my daughter to rest. My team was there, right? And so I was able to finish out the rest of that season, and they was right there. So we have a different kind of relationship because, like you said, I try to. My our grieving was let me keep busy, let me keep hooping, let me keep doing these things, but I didn't properly like acknowledge what was really going on. Let me just stay busy type stuff, right? And so I can relate to what you're saying, and I go back there, and the bond for those who are with you through those things, through these times, and that you can be transparent and they support you, it creates a whole nother mindset and the support. And that's why when you were saying, hey, bro, like this is, I'm gonna make this decision. I'm like, me, I'm rocking with you all the way to the end. You know what I mean? And so when we started to talking, I was like, bro, I need you to get back on, and we got to talk about this because this is something that, as a whole, everybody, the players, the coaches, the parents, because we all go through something. Right. And so it's all about being transparent, being able to open up and have that family setting, which that's what you set up and like the foundation up at the program at the school. So it's a thing where you can, because I watch kids come to you, you know what I mean, just your relationship. And I was like, yo, so I know it was hard for you to step down, but it was the best decision because you stepping down, you show that type of leadership to our young folks to say, hey, sometimes life is going to do this and it's okay to take a break and really deal with these your personal situations and not worried about the chat and what people got to say because they're always going to talk. And so that was the big part too, with you coming back. And that's why my heart is overwhelmed, and it's because you made it through it. You know what I mean? As you continue to go and get, get stronger and fight through it because it's never over in a sense. Like you said, there's things that you're still dealing with. But for you to at least see the situation, be able to get the help that you needed, and now to be back and say, let me share my story and still be here for these kids and continue the work that I feel like God laid in my heart to give to these young ladies. And so that's the encouraging part because you have a young group. You know what I mean? They're a bunch of, I mean, this year I'm about to say you may have one or two, if that seniors, but they're all, sophomores. They're going to be sophomores, junior. There's a young group. Like you said, amazing work that Lindsay and has done with the young ladies this past season. And we have a lot of quite a few of the girls play on the Lady Admirals program. So that was a thing too for myself. Because folks, if they wanted to, wonder what happened or why I leave, because it's one of those, oh, they lost, and so you took a leave absence and I left. It had nothing to do with us winning or losing. I
No,
want I want to clear that if people trying to say that wasn't why I even stepped down. We was trying to make it work, but it was a thing at the time that said that I had to be all in, you know what I mean, on or not, because like our first year did well. They worked with us. They wouldn't allow us to be able to work, because I was still coaching at Ridgetop, and so
we're
it
giving an
was
ultimatum.
yeah, it was an automated. Like say, yo, either I gotta leave Ridgetop and come over full time or not. And I was thinking also on the back end for me to really help these young ladies I can't be just that part time, neither one of us, because we have that blackout time, right? We can't do anything. And so on the back end, I was thinking too, I was like, you know what, if I get a lot of these girls, because we got to create the best system, which is a feeder system. And so I was like, well, as things, I can't work with them now, but as things change, I was like, okay, I can be their AAU coach or on the back end, and I can help you. I can implement things. We can create this system. And so, as I had to make the hard decision and step down, well, that's what role I end up really gravitating and pulling those young ladies into the program and being able to say, okay, how can we still keep the vision alive? So that's what's, what I mean, just like I said, putting it out there, just canceling all the assumptions or what people are thinking and saying that no, our love for these girls and for our community is so much that we think and we try to move ourselves out of the way and put them in the forefront. You know what I mean? And so that is what happened where the young ladies they did very well this past season. You know what I mean? They missed I think by one game. They made missed the playoffs. And so I'm excited as you come back and as you're sharing your story and you still have pretty much the whole coaching staff, you know what I mean, that's coming back. So that's amazing. And you have some young ladies that are hungry. You know what I mean?
Man,
They,
crazy that people would think that I took a leave of absence because of the previous season. Like if you knew when I had to step away, I knew what was coming in this year.
yeah,
So so
you
I mean,
did.
I'd have to be a fool to just walk. I mean, and that's not to say that if I had nothing, I still would rock with them. I mean, I'm telling you, for 20 games straight, I tried to encourage them girls the best I can, and
Yeah,
I've never yelled at one kid. I've never disrespected anybody's kid. I've never belittled anybody's kid. My motto is, as long as you're giving me effort and not giving up,
that's
I
it.
don't care about a mistake. Just play effort. That's what I need from you. That's what I need from you. So I mean, I understand the game and the skill level. I played, and I was a decent player.
Hey, you was more than a decent player. You're being very humble right now. But go ahead, coach.
But nah, I mean, man, come on. I knew exactly what the team was going to look like this year.
Yeah,
So if I'm worried about winning or losing, and I'm going to step away because of a season that didn't go the way we wanted, like why would I walk away from this season? Well, I knew what was coming in.
I agree.
I knew
Yeah,
what was like. I mean,
you were. You,
if
you,
if if there was a season to be there, it was definitely this one.
No, no, and that is true facts because we talked all the time, so I know the conversations and what we had coming in and all of those things where it was like, oh, this is gonna be fun, right? Because we had already did our scouting, who was gonna come up, the young group. Because for those who don't understand the game, like for coaches, that's what we do. We build a relationship. We're at the middle school. We're constantly looking, finding out who's coming up and who's in and developing nonstop. and just plugging and playing. And so we knew this season. You got to think our season we finished 19th. Ada was a freshman,
Hmm.
so we knew she was coming. You had Sam, you know what I mean? So you look at certain pieces that was getting minutes on a team that finished 19th that got experience, and we're like, "Ooh, they're back." And then we got some young freshmen that came out of CK Middle. You know, I got to give love out to those are two of my girls. You know what I mean? Everybody know AG and Lil. You know what I mean? They were some animals on a different level, and they're just the dynamic duo. You know what I mean? And that's something they came in and as freshmen they played, and you don't see that a lot. Freshmen that can come in and play minutes at a varsity level, and the fact that our league we switched over to the Tacoma League. So for those who don't know, we're in a different league, so that put even more pressure on us, you know, to perform. And so those girls as a whole, the coaching staff that you selected, that's why I tell you, bro, pat yourself on the back, give yourself some credit because you had to pick the coaching staff. Who did you feel that was going to be the best piece and did an amazing job? They all filled in and they held it down and they set up not only just for this past season, but even for you to come back. Because now those girls, they have expectations, they're ready, they know what to do, and now you get to come back in and pick up, you know, and get them back to the playoffs. Because that's the thing, right? It's saying, okay, we ain't gonna take too many days or too many seasons off not making the playoffs and go back to state. That's our goal, and so that's why, like I said, I wanted to really just also bring you on and talk to you again because your story needed to be heard. You know what I mean? And that's it. Your story alone is so encouraging. I know it's going to be encouraging to so many people because it's encouraged to, it has encouraged me, and I'm your boy. You know what I mean? I call you your daughter. You know, my goddaughter. That's how close we are. It's like, yo, we're family like that, and for us to be able to sit down and know that I always got your back and you always have mine. You know what I mean? And these young ladies and I feel like the community at CK and Bremerton, whoever, our community as a whole, everybody who knows you know how you get down. You know what I mean? And so I just wanted to be able to give you a platform to not, you know, to share your story, to encourage so many people across the world because it's okay, as they say, mental health is very important. It
It
is.
is. It is. And if you don't take care of it, it'll take care of you. Believe me.
It will. And bro, I'm gonna let you get ready to get off. But how's my goddaughter? How's Naya doing, man?
Oh man, what time is it? She just getting out of she just getting out of chair practice, man.
She's cheering now.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
you know, I used to mess with her about being a cheerleader. I'm like, nah. I was like, we don't cheer, we get cheered for. But you
right.
know, that's my baby, man, and you
It
know,
is.
doing something positive, regardless if it's not the something I wanted to be doing. You know, I'm a support. I'm gonna be her number one fan, no matter what it is. So I'm trying to get her back on the court. I'm gonna keep trying and trying. You know, she says she miss it. I just don't know. You know, there's another reason. I don't know what it is, but you know, or at least I won't say it on camera. But
Gotcha.
um, she doing volleyball. She really loved that. She wants to get into select volleyball, and
Okay.
she love it, and she's good at it, and she got the height for it. So
She does.
you know, she got A's and B's. She in two AP classes, so she headed in the right direction. I'll let her know you asked about her.
Yes, you gotta tell her. And man, I'm her biggest fan as well. So hey, if we're gonna switch to volleyball, whatever it is, you already know. Let me know what
Yeah,
she need so we can get her workouts, whatever we need to do to help her to make it to the level that we know she can play at. You know what I mean? And that's not just basketball. That's just life. Period. It's always one of those. So definitely. Before, yeah, we about to get off, man. IG, there's going to be people I believe that's going to probably want to reach out and going to want to hear your story, or just, what I mean, you never know. You might be somebody be like, hey, we want you to come in and speak and share these things. So, how can people get in touch with you?
Oh man, I don't be on there. I don't be on. You got me up here looking old, having to go find my find my page. So yeah, you can get at me on IG. It's Mac Sean Valentino, MacSean Valentino. Mac Sean Valentino. That's like my alter ego from a long time ago. So it just kind of stuck with me. You know what I'm saying? It's my name is Marshawn, but my dad's family is from the South, and
Hey.
my grandma Desi, she don't pronounce uh s's, so she would always call me Mashawn. And so when she would call me that, people started hearing on it and thought it was spelled Machaun. So then they chopped off the N, and that's where the Mac came from.
Okay.
So
No, that.
that's where that came from. And Facebook is Mac Sean Valentino too. I got Twitter, but I don't even be on it like that. But yeah, Mac
They
Sean
can.
Valentino on IG or Facebook, and if worst come to worst, the ambassador know my direct number, and
Yep.
I trust that he'll give that to who he trusts. I think should have it.
If you want to see him in action, you got to come check him out. And the girls, trust me. You know what I mean? Y'all know that's what I do. I go out, I scout the best teams, players, coaches, and put everybody on the stage. You're gonna want to come and check out CK. The girls, Cougars, that their team is gonna be they are a fun team. A lot of those girls currently play AAU for me, quite a few of them. They're fun to watch, and that's his team. He's the head coach on the CK girls. So check them out. I'm sure if it's not this summer, this fall, you're gonna want to see them. We're in the Tacoma League. I think it's the SP. I can't even think of South Puget Sound or South League, but it's basically Tacoma. Majority
Mm-hmm.
Tacoma teams. Uh, so yes, man, check us out. I'm on the boys' side uh, of CK, so you can see both of us in action this fall with the CK teams. And man, we always got love for Bram. That's where it started. So don't ever lose it. He's a legend. He said he was decent. He's one of the best hoopers. You look him up, Google him. Like I played with him. Like I said, one of my fondest stories. I tell people, I say, man, he used to jump. Don't you see him now, right? He has a limp because he had surgery, and y'all be like, oh no, jump out of the gym. I remember we was on a base tournament. I was going out of bounds doing something, and I threw up towards the rim. Oh my gosh, he shut the gym down. I'm telling you, he was that guy. And you see how big he is. Like so, that that was so don't like I said get it twisted think that he wasn't one of those. He was a monster, one of the best players I had the privilege of playing with, being a teammate, and honored to coach with, and one of my good friends. And so coach, I want to say thank you for sharing your story, and choosing me to make just to be in your life. Forget the basketball stuff. Yeah, we made history, made all that, but it's different. We're relationship type personnels that care about our girls, and we're on the same mindset. And so that's what I want to say is like thank you for being a real one, because you don't find a lot of you got a lot of people that talk about it, but that stuff really happened in life, and then you really find out who's really got your back. You know what I mean? And so, Coach, I want to say thank you, and I want to thank everybody for tapping in and checking out live and unscripted. I'll be back with Sterling Coach, well, I won't say Coach Sterling. He's no longer a coach, but this weekend, Sterling, another good friend of mine, we're going to be talking about iPlan on Saturday and then the unit on Sunday. That's with my street ball family. So you can check this interview out on all major platforms. We're going to be going to radio real soon. More information is going to be coming out on that. But Apple, iHeart, shout out to Blazing. To my family, which is podcasts that I'm a part of, the radio station, all of that is Blazing 420, and that's where you find all of this, all my content or podcasts on all the major platforms. So this interview is going to reach millions of people. So that's why I said thank you for sharing your story, and we're gonna have to definitely jump back on because once the season get going and about midway or something like that, just want to do a check-in, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and be able to really continue to talk to people. And I might have to have you come out and do some speaking engagements with me, you know what I mean, because
Okay.
that's really what it's about. So I said,
Well,
what's up, guys?
uh, I just want to say, man, thank you for having me on, man. And you got all tons of guests that you could have picked from, and you picked me, so I appreciate that. I can't tell who's been on watching and all that stuff, but whoever has, I appreciate you taking time out of your life just to listen to me sit up here and talk for a long time. We've been on here for what, an hour,
Howard, yeah.
but whoever stayed on the whole time, definitely appreciate that. If you just caught a little, I appreciate that. Lindsay, Frank, Arion, my coaching staff, man, thank you guys for what you guys did this year, man. I love you guys. Appreciate you just holding it down and being there for me in the basketball world. And I'm excited to get back away from the court. Everybody, I don't know who's on here, but I mean, you know who you are. I don't want to try to name off a bunch of
Right.
because it feel bad if I accidentally forget a name, but every text, even if I didn't answer every call, even if I didn't answer, I appreciate it. I appreciate your grace. If you still rock with me, even though I may not have been myself lately, and I've been really distant from a lot of people. It's not something that I'm choosing to do. Like I really wish I could have been in a different mode, but I mean that's just the hurdle that I have to get over. But just know that I am doing what I have to do and trying my best to be better than I used to be. And for those watching, man, if you going through something, it's okay to be going through something. It's okay to talk to people. Don't have the mindset where you embarrassed and stuff like that. Because one thing I do know going through this, the people that I have talked to, somebody has opened up about something that they're going through, and we were able to both comfort each other with listening and relating. So don't be afraid to speak up, man. Mental health is something that's really, really important. You never know what somebody's going through, and you never know how you can help impact in a positive way what they're going through with just something small. You know what I'm saying? So take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health. Even though I shouldn't be talking because I need to go back to the doctor again. My back messing up again, but
Ah,
it's it's been good, man. Like I like the whole basketball talk, but I really want to advocate for people to
yeah.
really really prioritize their mental health. Like that's the most important thing. Like to me, you know what I'm saying. Besides my kid.
No, no, I agree, and that's one of the things that we have. We're in the process of implementing into our program. Uh, Shout out and thank you to Alec Wilson, who is basically over our mental health program and working with my president Arion right now to put into play a mental health course or class for our youth program. So part of our youth program is going to focus, and he's going to be the resource, his organization, where we're going to provide services to not only the players but to the parents, whoever may need mental health, and educate us on that. So your story is opening up, to I feel like a lot of people get to hear it and know once we roll out our class. I think it's coming in the next week or two when they start seeing information. This is why we're doing it because it is very important. This is like even myself, like I had shared, I told you, part of my little story back in the day. It's very mental health is really like that. If you're not mentally there, it's nothing you can do. The game, you shouldn't be playing the game. You know what I mean? Coaching or doing anything, that's how much it affects you. And so it's like, as they say, body, mind, and soul, get everything in line and in order to be able to perform at the highest. And so, man, we say thank you, and definitely we're going to be back on again. And I want to say, man, yeah, quite a few people. I'm able to see how many eyes are on us, and I know you can. And so, like I said,
I don't know if I can. I ain't been messing with it.
yeah. So yeah, Rob, he said, "What's up?" I want to say hi. What's up, Rob? We had a comment, Pat Curry, mad love. He left one a comment up here, and then who is this? I'm about to say Brent. I need to put on my glasses. See, that's my thing.
Yeah,
He
I
put,
can't see none of
yeah, I know. And
that.
so, and so, hey, we want to tell everybody good night. And like I said, I will be back on Saturday. You can check us out on the sidelines. Just watch us at what we love to do. But if you just want to talk to us, feel free to reach out to us. If you want us to come and talk, about share our stories. Like I said, we coach not for win and losses. That's a part of just the business or the game in which we're in, and we have success. Been blessed to have some success on the court and off the court, but it's really about our kids in the community, and so that's the most important part is making sure that they mental health and physically, just everything. It's about a life at the end of the day, because like I said, once basketball is over, life still keeps going. So, hey, we say thank y'all for tapping into live and unscript. I am the ambassador, and that's my brother, Coach Mag. Until next time, love you.
All right, now,
All right, fam.
bro. Yeah.